Hello viewers, welcome to our lecture series on marketing management, and today we are going to have a discussion on the topic of understanding marketing environment. This is going to be part 1 of our lectures on marketing environment. And before I proceed for this lecture, let me tell you the agenda of this lecture of today's. We'll first be talking about how to understand the environmental forces, what are the different components of environmental forces, and then we'll talk about how to understand the demographic and economic factors and the way they are affecting our marketing strategies, because unless we understand the way they are going to affect our marketing environment, our marketing strategies, we cannot do justice to our strategy formulation and implementation. And after that, we will talk about the ways to identify trends in firms' natural and technological environments, and eventually we will talk about how companies react to the marketing environment and what is the right way of dealing with these components. Although the internal controllable factors we have already discussed in terms of 4 Ps or 5 Ps or 7 Ps in case of services, we had already discussed about those marketing mix under the head of marketing mix and MOF marketing. So, let us now talk about what exactly marketing environment is. As the term environment itself is indicating about the surrounding in which we are doing our business. So, all the factors or actors or forces which influence our ability to transact business effectively with our target market, that is going to be called as our marketing environment. So, we have to first identify what are those actors and factors or forces which may or may not influence our ability to transact or our ability to do the business. So, whatever marketing strategies we are formulating, we have to first understand that with our target market, what factors can influence our strategies, what factors may affect our strategies and decisions. And these includes basically 2 types of factors when we classify them. One which is very specific to the business, which is very specific to my company, and that forms part of microeconomic environment. And another one is macroeconomic, which is basically a larger societal forces are there into that, and they are in general, they are general in nature, they are applicable to all companies which are operating in a given environment, regardless of their sector, regardless of their type of product, or regardless of their strategies. So, we have to first understand this very basic classification, that there are 2 broad classifications, one is micro, another is macro. So, micro environment forces, they are close to the companies that affect their ability to serve its customers. Suppose I have to exemplify, I would say I am dealing with the pharmaceutical industry, that is I am dealing with the medicines and all. So, the policies and regulations which are specific to my sector, they will actually form part of microeconomic environment. They would be specific to my industry, my company to which I am catering to. But if I talk about macroeconomic environment, there can be certain policies, there can be certain rules and regulations which may be common to all. For instance, if I am operating as a company, the Provisions of Companies Act 2013 for as far as India is concerned, they shall be applicable for all companies, regardless of whether they deal with the pharmaceutical or they deal with the FMCG or any sector you name. So, we have to understand that this is the basic classification of micro and macroeconomic environment. So, larger societal forces which affect the whole micro environment, they are being called as or classified as macroeconomic environment or macro environment you can call. So, if I have to show the entire marketing environment in a circle, I would say at the very center, the company, that is our own company, is there at the center. We are there working as a company, as a marketer. So, there is an internal surrounding where we talk about the company itself, the suppliers, customers, competitors, general public and intermediaries. So, they are basically forming part of microeconomic environment. They are specific to my company. So, I would only be dealing with that supplier who deals with my specific industry, my specific business. I would only talk about those customers who actually purchase my products or who actually are interested in buying the products which belong to my industry. I would only talk about intermediaries and competitors which are very specific to my industry. So, this is called microeconomic environment, which is slightly close to the company, and that is why we call it, it is specific to the company, it belongs to my company. So, suppose I am dealing in fast moving consumer goods, that is FMCG. So, this entire layer, this entire surrounding of supplier, customers, competitors, intermediaries, general public and my company, that would actually be called as microeconomic environment. And if I go a step ahead and look at the macroeconomic environment, which is general for all types of companies, that is demographic environment, economic environment, natural environment, technological, political and cultural. Political is also called as classified as political legal, and cultural is also classified as socio-cultural, because culture is emanating from society and legal factors are emanating from the political forces. That is, of course, the polity is going to frame rules and regulations, they are going to enact laws which are specific to our company or which are even general for the entire business scenario. So, this is a brief circle of micro and macro environment in which a marketer has to deal with. So, my dear learners, the microeconomic factors are specific to the company. So, they require specific strategization, specific formulation of strategy. So, while forming or formulating strategy for dealing with microeconomic factors, we have to first understand what are these factors, what kind of challenges they are posing in front of us. So, according to those challenges, we are going to craft and draft our own strategies and we may implement it. So, understanding the environment will not only help us in understanding how to formulate our strategy, but we can also avoid certain challenges. We can also overcome certain areas where it may cause defeat to our company's strategy. So, well in advance we can go for forecasting our success component, that this strategy will be successful or not. So, I would be elaborating, I would be explaining to you in great detail what these factors are and what kind of impact they have on our business environment. But when we talk about marketing environment and we conduct pest analysis, that is political, economic, social and technological, we have to understand the different types of market also. That I would tell you that what kind of markets we have. So, microeconomic environment, if we take that circle out, that microeconomic component out of that 3-layer circle, then we find these factors which affect company's ability to serve customers, that is the suppliers, customers, intermediaries, competitors and public. And if I talk about microeconomic environment, we have to first understand the internal environment of our own company in which I am dealing. If you recall the marketing concept when I was telling you about, which I discussed with you when I was discussing about the marketing philosophies, and there we talked about the marketing concept, and we were discussing about the integrated marketing, that the strategies of our company must be integrated. The purchase department must be in touch with the marketing department or sales department, so that the strategies may be formulated in complete integration. So, here comes that point, that what is my company's internal environment, what are the functional areas. For instance, we have top management, we have middle management, we have operating management. So, the way they have to integrate their strategies in such a way that customer is finding the response to their own demands, the response to their own queries. So, what is there into the finance of the company, what is there into the manufacturing activity of the company. If manufacturing department is not in touch with the sales department, how would they cater to the queries, to the questions of customers who are actually eagerly giving their responses with the hope or with the huge amount of expectation that my marketer is going to give me a positive response. So, we have to understand first what is my company's internal environment in which we are working, the functional areas of the company. Then after understanding the company, that is my own internal environment, here we can conduct a SWOT analysis, that what is the strength of my company, what are the weaknesses we are facing, and amid this strength and weaknesses, what are the opportunities available to our company. In what manner we can create a USP, unique selling proposition, which may differentiate my company with that of my competitors. So here is the point where we can do a kind of internal analysis. We can conduct a SWOT analysis of understanding strength, weaknesses, opportunities and also the threats. That what are the threats if I go ahead with this kind of opportunity in hand. So this is called understanding company's internal environment, and it is also a part of company's microeconomic environment or micro environment. The next comes suppliers. Suppliers are basically the soul of what we are going to offer to our customers, because our entire input depends upon our suppliers. They are providing resources which are needed to produce or manufacture the goods and services. So whatever is the quality of supplies I am getting from my suppliers, that would decide the fate of the products which I am manufacturing. Imagine what if I am not getting the requisite quality of supplies in my factory to produce the output. Of course, the output will also be according to the input. So the role of supplier cannot be discounted here. It is equally important as the production is. So we have to understand that we should have a strength of requisite suppliers who are ready to offer the requisite quantum and quality of products to us or inputs to us, so that we can process them and produce as per the demand of our target market. The next come marketing intermediaries. Once the production is done, we have to find out the intermediaries to promote, sell and distribute our products to end users. I have to supply it to end users. So what about my intermediaries? Who are my channels of distribution? It is just like giving blood supply to our entire body. So they are basically offering supplies to the customers. They have to offer the product to the customers as per their own convenience. So marketing intermediaries, they come at the third level. Once we are ready with our production, we have to supply it to our end users. So again we have to understand who all are the intermediaries available, what options are available with us, and which option is the best suitable in the light of my cost, distribution cost, and also where customers are finding them convenient. I found an intermediary who is very cost effective. He or she can reduce my cost of distribution, but my customers are finding it very difficult to purchase. Suppose I'm a manufacturer in a far-flung area of our country, say any state where we are working in a far-flung area. So do you think that customers from different parts of the country, they would come to that place to collect the product? Of course not. So we have to give the top priority to the convenience of our customers, that whether they find it convenient or not, that matters a lot. So role of marketing intermediaries also form part of this microeconomic environment or micro environment. Now after we understand the role of companies' internal environment, suppliers and marketing intermediaries, we have to understand which market I am going to cater to. Whether I am going to deal with the customers directly, whether it is B2C business, that is business to customers, that I am going to deal with the customers, end users who are going to purchase it for their own consumption, then my strategy will change accordingly. So we have to understand who is my customer, whether I am selling it to the end user or I am going to be a part of B2B marketing. When I say B2B, it means business to business. So whether the market is business, I'm going to sell it to the businessman or I'm going to sell it to the customers. So my market is consumer market or business market, we have to understand. Or I'm dealing with the situation where I'm going to sell it to a person who is going to resell it, which means again the business, B2B, reseller market. Or I am going to deal with the government, I am going to deal with the government market. For instance, in India, we have GEM, Government E-Market Portal, where the vendors can register themselves and they are offering supplies to the government departments. So government markets, if you are catering to, you have to understand that as per the government rules and regulations, for example, if I talk about India, we have general financial rules applicable for all government purchases, government procurements. So accordingly, they are processing it. So we have to understand all those rules and regulations when I am going to deal with the market which belongs to government. Or I am going to cross the boundary and I am going to deal with the international customers, I am going to sell in international market. So I have to be aware of all the internal rules and regulations, that what are the nitty-gritties of international marketing. So I have to first understand as a company that where do I stand, who are my customers, so that market will also determine our strategy. And this is also a part of our microeconomic environment. I have to understand where I am going to sell my product, what is my target market, that is another part of analysis. So my dear learners, by now you must have understood what we are doing into understanding marketing environment. We are trying to understand that what kind of challenges are there with which we are surrounded with. So we are going to identify the challenges with which I am surrounded with as a company. Unless I am aware of those challenges, how would I face, how would I brave those challenges? How would I come out of those problems which are imposed by these challenges? So we have to understand that what are the microeconomic factors and what are the macroeconomic factors. If I talk about macroeconomic environment, of course these factors are broad in nature and they are general for all industries. They are called as the environment of a particular nation. It can be a demographic environment, it can be economic, natural, technological, political, legal and cultural. So I would tell you that these are the forces which shape the opportunities and pose threats to a company who is going to sell its product in the market. So we have to understand that what is there into the macro environment. As the term macro itself reflects that it is talking about a broader perspective, a broader outlook, which includes so many microeconomic factors. So macroeconomic environment is basically an environment which is general to all the companies regardless of their size, type and products they are dealing with. So if I take the first component of it, this is called demographic environment. Now when I talk about the demographic environment, it includes the age, gender, occupation, location and other statistical components of a particular demography. That suppose I am going to sell my products in a country where the population is of diverse in nature. So I have to find the different components of that demography, that what are the different age groups available to whom we can cater, and this would help us in identifying our target market, because even segmentation can be done on the basis of demographic factors that we would discuss little later when I'll talk about segmentation, targeting and positioning, which is called as STP. So these demographic factors basically they monitor population in terms of different components. It may be based on age, that what is the median age of population of the country where I am going to sell my product, and what is the majority age of population of the country in which I am going to sell. Gender wise also classification can be made. It can be based on race, it can be based on occupation, location and other statistics. So this would give us the idea about the different variants of our population or demography, and based on that we can go for doing the segmentation and we can find our target out of that market. The next one is economic factors. Having said economic factors, I wish to indicate towards the consumer buying power, that what is the buying capacity of the customers. So accordingly we would decide that what should be our positioning, whether I should go for selling a premium product or I should go for selling a product which is cost effective, which is made for common man, which is made for a person whose purchasing power is comparatively very less. So these economic factors also determine the type of product we are dealing with. So our positioning will depend upon the economic factors. At times when we go for doing segmentation, targeting and positioning, we may combine different components of macroeconomic environment to do the segmentation. So economic factors are affecting consumers' buying power and patterns. Then comes natural factors. When I say natural resources, natural resources which are needed as inputs by marketers or that are affected by marketing activities. It can be the inputs which we may need. It may be a climate which may need for processing our particular product. It is a climate which we need for deciding our product. It may be a seasonal product. Suppose if you are dealing with a country where you have different weathers and different weather zones and time zones, then of course you have to decide your strategy according to that. So natural environment also plays a very vital role in deciding our marketing strategies and activities. You cannot sell the woolen garments in the summers. In the month of June, I cannot think of selling woolen garments to my customers who are living in Delhi. Or it can be vice versa. I cannot think of selling air conditioners in the winters. In the month of December, I cannot think of selling out air conditioners to my customers. There can be some customers who may think of buying it due to some promotional efforts of a company, but in general nobody is willing to buy that. So natural resources, natural components also affect our marketing strategy. When I talk about microeconomic environment, if I have to sum it up, the factors and actors which are there, it is companies, suppliers, marketing intermediaries, customers, competitors and publics. Some people think, how can we manage our competitors? Can we have control over our competitors? Of course not. That is why they are also classified as uncontrollable factors. But what strategies can we formulate for dealing with our competitors? That we can determine after we understand what my competitors are doing. Unless I know what my best competitor is doing, I cannot make improvements in my product or the way of offering my services. So suppose if I talk about my strategy formulations, I would say that marketers must consider other parts of organization, which includes finance, research and development, purchasing, operations and accounting. They should actually decide that marketing decisions must relate to broader company goals and strategies. So whatever strategies I am formulating for my marketing activities, they should be in conformity with the company's goals and strategies, company's own vision and mission. And in conformity with that, we should formulate our marketing strategies. When I say the microeconomic environment, marketers must watch the supply availability and what is the pricing which is being considered by my suppliers. If I am going to talk about my suppliers, what I can do? I can try to ensure effective partnership or relationship management with my suppliers, because that is very much essential. If I am not sharing a cordial relationship with my supplier, there can be a possibility that when I am in intense need or immense need, my supplier may say no. Imagine that you are having a huge demand in the market at one point of time in a year, and since you are not having a cordial relationship with your supplier, and supplier thought that yes, I'm not going to supply, I'm not going to give you the additional supply in this for this seasonal demand or for this temporary demand. What you can do? Nothing. There would be a loss of sale, there would be a loss of opportunity. So that is why the relationship with the supplier is very much essential here. So for suppliers, what we can do is we can formulate a strategy, and accordingly we can maintain a relationship, a kind of relationship with our suppliers where there is no short supply. So that is the essence of dealing with this factor that is called suppliers. If I talk about marketing intermediaries, I need to help them to promote, sell and distribute goods to final buyers. So these are the people who are in touch with our customers, with our end users. So whatever image they are reflecting of my company in terms of supply, the same image would actually go to my customer. So they are going to be the image, the real image builders of my own product or my company. So if they are very crude and rude to our customers, imagine what would happen. If they are not listening to the problems of the customers, what would happen? So they are there to, these intermediaries are there to help us in promoting, selling and distributing goods to end users, and they include resellers, physical distribution firms, they include marketing services agencies, financial intermediaries. So these intermediaries, they are there to help us on different fronts. So how to deal with them, what to do about them? If we understand that who all our intermediaries available, what all options are available with us, out of those options we can select the best one, and we can again maintain a cordial relationship with them. So that is something which is very important. So effective partnership or effective relationship management again is essential here at the point of, at the front of marketing intermediaries. So whether you talk about suppliers or you talk about marketing intermediaries, both are actually working as two strong pillars of any organization, of any company who is going to market its product. Because suppliers are going to decide the quality of your inputs, and marketing intermediaries are going to decide the timely distribution, convenient distribution of the products to end users. So these three components we have discussed out of microeconomic environment, that is companies, suppliers and marketing intermediaries. Remaining three components, that is customers, competitors and public, that we would discuss in the next part of my lecture on the same topic. I hope you must have understood the micro and macroeconomic environment in formulating the strategies of marketing, marketing as a discipline, marketing as an art, marketing as an activity. Thank you so much.